Alright, YouTube, today we shall be welding plastic. And not with chemicals, or future technology, or a breathing mask, or any safety features at all. I don't know if I'll actually survive this one. I'm going to be using a soldering iron and more plastic. So, if that interests you, go ahead and watch the rest of the video, and if not, click on a different video. Because I don't want you here if you're not interested. These are for my people. Or anyone else that, stumbles across it. So, warning, I probably swear in this, so if you don't want to hear swearing, then pick a different video. Otherwise, fuck off. Here is the setup. First, I'll show you the filaments. This is just some red ABS. This is blue PLA. All these black fragments are a black PLA that are the same brand as the blue. And then we have some blue ABS. This ABS roll came from the same manufacturer as the blue PLA. I showed that in the knife video. And this is some XYZ printing blue that I don't like using for prints because it's not that great, but it works really well for this. For shooting, the camera you're seeing right now will be on this tripod, and then this side view will just kind of like show a little bit closer what my hands are doing. I'm trying to do this as professional as possible. This is going to be a lifesaver. This is going to cut down cooling time, so this video won't take 3 hours. It should take about maybe 30 minutes. I'm going to be doing welding, well, my version of plastic welding, which is going to involve the soldering iron, which is why it's already plugged in. 2 is going to be like layer fill in. So like if you have a, say my fingers are the layers and you kind of get a separation, I'll show how to fill that in. Then we'll take a small break and I'll kind of talk some things over. And then I'll go into finishing. Some with the soldering iron, some with the horrid look on my face. No, not really. Some I'll use a lighter for, because you can actually get some pretty nice... Java update. Fuck you! You can actually get a pretty nice finish with just a simple lighter. So, let's get started. So here we have soldering iron. It's heating up right now. It's not nearly hot enough. Now since I have a nice top to do this on, you don't need the spool. Usually I use the spool to hold things, like if it has a rounded bottom. Works a lot better than like that. Everything I'm going to be using today is from failed prints, so not really wasting anything. Here are 2 parts from the Millennium Puzzle build. This was a side and then this was a top, but the thing broke off, so I had to print a whole new thing. So we'll just go right, actually we'll try and do it like this, make it a little more challenging. Let's see if this melts yet. Okay, now that this is hot enough, there's going to be smoke when you do this with ABS, guys. There's probably going to be smoke with everything. That's why you want to do it in a well-ventilated room. To start, all you're going to do is you're going to take the soldering iron out, recording canceled. Soldering iron parts. If you've ever MIG welded or TIG welded, you're going to start with like kind of tacks. So you're going to melt the higher piece into the lower piece. Once again, guys, this is just for structural. I will get to finishing quality later. Like if you're doing a helmet, like I did with the Iron Man, you do this on the inside where no one sees because it won't ruin the finish on the outside. As you can see, smoking quite a bit. And actually, what the fuck is with you right now? Recording canceled. But as you can see, showed through a little bit on the back, but that's actually pretty solid. I'll do this one. I'll use a different color so you can kind of see how it blends. You're going to want to cut the length of the weld. Actually, you're going to want a little bit more off the ends, because what you're going to do, most filament's going to be kind of coiled as it comes off the spool anyway. All you're going to do is you're going to kind of hold it into place and melt tack it. So melt it and then tack it into place a little bit. Once again, this is on the back side, so it doesn't really have to be perfect. Just get something going, let it cool down. Do another one. Now, because this is under tension, you're going to want to kind of dab it into place first. All you're doing, you're not even fusing right now, you're just melting it into a place where you can work with it. You're just adding material to help strengthen the weld when you finally do the weld. Now, to save on time, I'm not going to do the whole weld, I'm just going to do the portion I already have melted down. What you're going to do next is you're going to take kind of the flat end and just mold it back towards the other piece. Whatever piece it has the least amount on is the one you're going to move it towards. And you're just going to fill in this gap. Like I said, there's a bunch of smoke. Unfortunately, the ventilation in this room is behind me, so it's going to drag right towards my face. And go ahead and get this out of here. Once again, let it cool down. Then, as you can see, now it's actually, you can see it on the back end, it's pretty solid too. We're going to pretend this is our finished face. And that will pretty much hold anything you're looking to do, unless you're looking to get like intense with it, like you're making a prop or something that's going to get dropped and moved around. So we can kind of move into more of a finishing type set. But since we have this lovely crease already, we can get into infill. You can always add more. It's a lot harder to remove it once it's there. So it's kind of like a golden rule when you're doing this. You could do 20 little layers. It's kind of like paint. You can always do 20 little layers instead of one big one and have it look real shitty. Granted, this method doesn't look particularly good to begin with. Just melt it and stick it into the old pile. Once you get far enough along, you can kind of just autopilot. Melt it, stick it to the old pile. Melt it, stick it to the old pile. Once again, guys, this isn't really meant to look the greatest. It just works really well. Now that it's all filled in, and the more you add, the more it's going to adhere, the stronger it's going to get. Eventually, adding more won't really do anything. So at that point, you're basically at this level. We'll get right on to filling, and kind of screwed myself a little bit. Anyway, we will fill with red. This isn't going to be the red I made these parts out of. It's actually the other spool. But like I said, this is XYZ filament, and since I'm probably never going to buy it again anyway, I'll get rid of it now. It's not the greatest stuff. One of the reasons I hacked my DaVinci, so I could run other filaments. Got to clean up. There's this overlap from the brim that I never cleaned up. You can just massage it out of the way. Then you can... So one way to fill it in is like this. You tack one end, pull it over, tack the other end, remove it. The other way is to drip in. So like you'd take the lighter and you'd actually start it on fire. I don't like this way because, as you can see, it smears and it's real messy and you get that burn. So these jeweler snips are like the best 3D printing tool there is. I'd advise them to pretty much anyone. Let me just clean this out a little better. So we're going to tack this end down. When you're doing delicate stuff like this, speed is not a good thing. You want to go slow and methodical, and that'll reduce the damage you're doing to your parts by doing this by a lot. You don't want to have big divots, obviously. And you can always sand off excess later. All you're doing is you're massaging the old, or the new plastic into the old part. You just kind of slide it along. You don't even want to like have as much force as gravity allows. You kind of want to hold it off of it a little bit until it just melts enough to smooth into place. Now I have a little discoloration because I was doing actual soldering with this the other day and I never cleaned it off. You should always clean off your soldering iron with a flux or whatever you usually use. As you can see, I let it get a little too hot because I was busy talking. And I have a little bit of a divot, but it's not too bad. And as you go, you just keep massaging it down and it'll fall into place. Oh, let's see if I can patch that. Yep, there we go. Since you already welded on the back side, you don't have to worry about this one being structural at all. So you can just work it until it fills in the crack. And let's get all this cooled down. And you just keep, you melt it a little bit. You don't want to like press like this because otherwise you get that ugly divot. You just kind of want to kind of just roll it across, except you don't roll, you just kind of slide the soldering iron across until you stop seeing a visible gap. Now there's always going to be discoloration from this, but since I'm assuming you're going to do sanding after this and actual cleanup, you don't really have to worry about it that much. Now if you keep pressure on this back end, it'll bow up at the hottest point. So don't press it down, just kind of hold it in place, and then you can... Oh, a little too hot. And I got a divot. Takes a lot of practice, but it's a real simple concept, and honestly, every time you have a failed print, use it as practice. And you'll get pretty good at it pretty quick. Like, that's all the more you have to do, because that already filled in. It doesn't really look like it, but as you can see, that part's not moving anymore. We're going to have a problem with this just because there's already oxidation in it from where it bent and kind of got stretched. So we're going to ease that down until you stop seeing the white of it, and then you just do the same thing. And that's how you fuse fill, and then you would take a sandpaper. If you guys did watch the knife video, this is the sandpaper from the knife cut. and you clean one edge first, and then the other edge. You don't want to go right down the middle, because then you won't have a clean edge. It'll be, so like, here's one edge, here's the other edge. You don't want to sand right here. You want to sand this side first, and then this side, so it creates its own point. So you'd sand this side until it's smooth, and then you'd sand this side until it's smooth. And as you can see, the sand gets the high points, and then you're left with all these points. Like, remember where I said I messed up here, here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and then this was all pretty much good? So if you want, after, you're going to spend a lot of time sanding when you do this, but that's okay. And there you go, welded on the back side, filled in on the front side, and then you can just Bondo it a little bit, and it's filled in. Or, if you're really good at this method, and you don't mind a little extra sanding, you can just, where's the worst one? This is probably the worst one. You can just kind of melt some to the end of your soldering iron. Oh, it doesn't want to stick. And fill in. This is a lot harder. As you can see, I'm not even really that good at it, and I kind of pioneered this, I would think. Never seen another video of someone doing this, so they're probably all just smart enough not to, and they know a better way, but this is the way I do it. So now that I finally got that chunk off, you just take it, and just like the others, you just kind of tap it into place. Now, as you can see, I'll try and get it so you can kind of see the curvature. It doesn't look terrible, and actually once you, I don't have any paint in here because I don't paint in here. Paint in the back shed. But once you paint it and smooth it out and, you know, fill it, sand it, it'll look like that was, you know, one part. See how much it takes to break this. Okay. As you can see where we fused, it's a nice clean break right along that edge, but as you saw, I had to struggle a little bit. So recording me just screwed editing me over because one, that camera decided that it doesn't need to work anymore, so I don't get the close-up view that I kind of wanted to show you. And unfortunately, this camera can only record 20 minutes at a time at 1080p and 60 frames per second. Reason for that is a DSLR, and I'm looking to upgrade it anyway, so don't worry about it. Hopefully that doesn't happen again in the future. And unfortunately, with that tripod, it kind of cut out some of the things I was trying to show you. But I think what I'm going to do now, since I don't have the second camera, it's not working right, I will just kind of do close-ups for the... So since I messed up already, as you can see, there's all the old goodness. It was sitting like this. I'm going to rotate each piece, and I'm going to do a quick weld, not a strong one, but I'm just kind of like going to frame these in together with a little bit of an overlap, and then I'm going to melt them together. Once again, I'm sorry that I messed up the first time, but I'm actually going to be doing this looking through the viewfinder of the camera, just so I make sure I'm in focus. Not really going to talk a lot during this because it's going to be enough to concentrate on just getting everything to weld. I'll start from the middle because one piece is actually... oh, shit. And then I'm just going to try and weld from the middle down with some quick heat. Let it kind of melt together. When the soldering iron is this hot and been on for this long, it melts everything really quickly, As you can see, I'm doing a circular pattern. I'm just trying to wear one side down into the other when I do that. They are not level right now. So that's one way to kind of assist. As you can see, it does weld. Usually you would want to add material as you do this, but since I'm holding with one hand and welding with one hand, I'm not going to be able to. I can do this first and then add later when I kind of like smooth everything out. But we're just going to keep working everything down. Make sure I'm still on the camera. Okay. This is really hard to do when you're not actually looking at the part. Circles help too. Just anyone who's welded before knows the pattern. That's the flat side. It cools rather quick, so it's not really too hot. I'd still advise, working it down. It's not going to be too strong right now either, because it's only on one side and it's really not that deep. It's just fusing the faces. So now that we have this side, oh, this is not going to do well. So we're going to use this again. And just like last time, you're going to want to do little tack chunks. So since this is the side you wouldn't be seeing, you just take the tip through and burn it down. As you can see, that didn't ruin the other side at all, although it did ruin this side. Ooh, oh my god. Yeah, we'll just do this. When there's this much of a gap, or you're doing it at a right angle, the way you'd want to do it is I'll weld it to this side first, and then I'll kind of cope it back up into this side. So just keep working it downward. As you can see, when it gets too hot, it doesn't want to stay put. This isn't safe per se, because you really do have to hold this thing like inches from your hand. But it does work, and I've done it quite a bit, so there you have it welded onto that side, and I suppose I can do a little bit more for you guys. It's still attached. And as you can kind of see, now it's welded to that side. Now I'm going to go ahead and weld it back upward. So you're just going to come in from the side and press it up and in. As you can see, there is a good amount of smoke doing this. But there you go. Pretty solid weld. And of course you can always add more in. by just melting. Okay, I'm once again running out of memory space, so just a quick go over. You can just add more. Damn it. Tick, 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 tick. Layer it in, tick, 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 and then smooth it out. That's pretty much going to be it, because I literally just ran out of my 8 gigs worth of memory on this memory card. So, there you have it. I'll probably do a follow-up video to kind of explain it more in depth, but honestly, I've been shooting for an hour now, and this video is probably not even going to be half of that, so we're just going to go ahead and be done for right now. So I hope you guys liked this 28-minute video that started out as a 64-minute video. I cut a lot out, but it didn't really need to be there. I probably could have cut a little bit more out, but I wanted to really convey everything that I was doing. So, same standard crap. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it. Subscribe if you think that my style of video and humor is what you like. Check out some of my other videos. Share this with your other 3D printing friends or friends who just kind of do that kind of modeling. They could maybe use this. This technique also does work with clay and one other substrate really well. I can't remember it right now, but obviously with lower temperatures on both. But, you know, other than that, hope you guys had a good time. I won't take up too much more of it, and I'll see you in the next one.